Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of Trowel Time, coming to you from the studios here in our administrative building in Alma, Michigan. And this special edition of Trowel Time is dedicated to a couple of upcoming programs that we've got planned for our fraternity in Michigan. With us today, very happy to welcome our guests today. We have in the center of our couch, Kelly Thompson. Kelly is the director of our foundation office. To her right is Patti Nowak, and Patti is the director of our member care department, which continues to expand. I think we've got about as much out of that as we can. And of course, on the left is actually in front of the camera this time, Darren Thompson, who is our communications specialist in the Grand Lodge office, and a smattering of applause comes out. We're going to get a soundtrack in here sometime when we've got an applause across it, so that it doesn't sound quite like Ben Tigner, who's always behind our cameras, making us look as good as he possibly can, and that's a chore for me. So good to have you all with us today.
Thanks, Bob. Glad to be here.
Being here. Yeah, and thanks for planning a very special event that's coming up on Friday, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, which was the day, you don't know this, but this was the day I was supposed to be born. Hence my middle name of Patrick. I was late and have been ever since. So on St. Patrick's Day up here at the office, on our campus in the Doig Chapel, we're going to be hosting a special leadership information day. I'm not sure what we're calling it yet. I hope that if you've got a title, you can tell us what it is. But
Lodge Leadership Day.
Lodge Leadership Day. What a great title. All right. And there's some really good stuff that we're going to talk about at that event. It's going to start at 9:30 with some opening remarks, but we'll have a little coffee, I'm sure, and some pastries or something before that. But we're going to start at 9:30. We'll have lunch together, and then we'll go into the afternoon session, and we'll all depart out of here at a very reasonable hour. But it'd be a great day for Lodge leadership. We want the masters, we want the secretaries, we want the wardens, and the deacons to attend, and we'll tell you about a special offer we're going to have regarding that in just a little bit. Right now, though, I know that the foundation has a couple of programs that they're very proud of and that they work really well with, and I want Kelly to talk with us about what they're going to present to you at this at the Lodge Leadership Day presentation regarding our Sweethearts. Kelly, would you kind of just let us know what goes on with the Sweethearts and what you can do with our Sweethearts?
Sure. One of the requests we get most often is how do we reach out to our widows? How do we reach out to our elderly members? So we're going to take that day to give you step-by-step instructions and information to take back to your lodge about how you can start a program for your Sweethearts and your widows, steps you can take utilizing the power of the Grand Lodge and our information to get a hold of those elderly members. If you notice a gentleman that's not coming to lodge anymore, how you can take the steps to reach out to him so you can re-engage him or see if there's anything that he needs. Maybe it's outreach and member care. Maybe he needs some brotherly relief. So we're going to give you the information to take back to your lodge to be able to start a program so you can start incorporating that into what you do.
And just to, if there is any confusion, when we're talking about Sweethearts, we're talking about
our Masonic widows.
Okay. So those ladies that are left after our membership is passed on for whatever cause, we want to make sure that we stay in touch with them. And that's our responsibility, one we should be taking very seriously.
Yes.
Additionally, though, we also want to make sure that we take care of our older brothers, too, right? Those
Correct.
that might have fallen through the cracks or we don't know necessarily where they're at. I know, Patti, you have a lot of experience with those folks, both our men and their spouses, and at times when they're having some troubles. Why don't you talk just briefly about, what does Member Care Department have for their support, and how can we help them a little bit?
Absolutely. So Member Care, we partner very much with the Charitable Foundation and our lodges who are keeping tabs on and eye on those members. So they make those referrals to Member Care. And then what we do is we try to get in there to talk with those members, find out what their needs are, kind of assess what some of their needs are, prioritize that, and help them come up with a plan to meet any of their needs. And many times that's in combination maybe with the local lodge as well, or with their family members. And we will just try to make sure that whatever they're experiencing, whatever hardship they might be experiencing, it might just be simply some loneliness, or it might be some needs that might help them stay in their home and for as long as they possibly want to, or it might even be connecting them here at the Michigan Masonic Home. We try to make sure that they're informed about what all their benefits are, what assistance that they can get, and they don't have to go through that alone necessarily. So many times it's working directly with them, or we might be working with those trusted brothers that they communicate with on a regular basis, and make sure that we're all wrapping around them with the appropriate information and any type of tools or resources that we can get to make a difference for their lives.
Yeah, that's great. I'm so proud of what our member care team does every day. And it's really because of what the foundation can do every day. And that's all because of what we do with the membership every day. And so, Darren, I think one of the topics that we cover a lot, we're going to talk a lot about it when we get into our leadership series this spring, these classes that are coming up, and I'll mention that in just a bit. But, one of the problems that the lodges have is staying in touch with their membership in a way that the membership actually understands and can utilize. Any thoughts on what are some best practices maybe that some lodges are doing or that you have utilized that just allows? I know, Darren and I are both members of Alma Lodge, number 244 up here in Alma, and I belong to too many lodges. I can't do that for everybody, but Alma Lodge does a really good job of staying in touch with its membership. So what are some best practices that you think a lodge could utilize to make sure that happens?
One thing that we've found, and I found working in the office, is there really is no best one practice to reach everybody. Everybody's different. Everybody consumes information differently. They want to be notified differently. So for Alma Lodge, and I encourage other lodges to do this too when I talk to them, we have a newsletter that goes out both electronically, and we mail to the members who don't have emails. We utilize robocalls also for a lot of members don't maybe check their email as much, or if they do at all. Robocalls are very effective. We do robo-texting sometimes for announcements and things. So there's really no one way. You really need to make sure that you're reaching everybody, because if you're just doing it electronically, every lodge is probably missing at least 40% of their membership that do not have emails in there. So
yeah. Today, with the opportunities for communication at a really low cost, I think that there is no reason that we shouldn't be reaching every single member of our lodges every week with some piece of information about what we do as a fraternity and what they do as a lodge.
Right. And if you're emailing, if you have a lot of members that are, you're touching those guys electronically, the cost to do a robocall to the other members is not that much. I think the service we use is called Call 'em All or Text 'em All, and it's maybe $0.10 per credit. So if we're only doing that to maybe 40%, and we know the other ones are opening their emails, then it's very minimal cost to stay in touch with your members.
And attendance at Alma Lodge is probably 20, 30 people?
Yeah, usually we run between 20 and 30 for a regular meeting. We get visitors from Ithaca and several area lodges. We try to support each other. But so we usually run between 20 and 30.
So you lodges out there that aren't getting good attendance at your lodge, there's a lot of things we have to think about. Number one, going to a boring business meeting isn't on my high priority list, but going to an interesting meeting that has a little business attached to it is. So we need to think about that. And then we've really got to stay in touch with our membership. That's the key thing. I can't tell you how many times I know Grand Lodge struggles with this. We go to communicate with our membership. We get a call from a widow, and we don't even know that something has happened. We don't know that he died. We don't know that she's now struggling. We don't know that. The only way that comes to us, if not from the individual themselves, is through the lodge. So it really becomes an issue where the lodge has to take a leadership role, and that's what we want to talk to you about. So plan on coming up on Friday, March 17th to our leadership training program. I know that it's tough to take off. I know that, but this is an opportunity now. We're going to have a track for the secretaries, and we're not talking necessarily about leadership development. That's coming in another class that we'll talk about in a minute, but this is how to do your job well. So this is for secretaries. What do you need to do your job well that has high impact on your membership? right?
Right.
And is easily facilitated, makes the job easier, right? We're going to have a track for masters, one for wardens and one for deacons, but we'll all be together. So everybody will get everything. The good news is that if you send up your whole leadership team, so that's the master, the secretary, a warden, and a deacon, we will reimburse your lodge that full amount. I think it's $30 per person to come up, $30 per person. We're going to talk to you about the lodge charity account, which is probably the most progressive, far-reaching tool that we have right now. But a great way to stay in touch with your community, help your lodge, help your membership. We're going to talk a little bit about member care. Patty's going to be up there. She'll have a booth for you where you can come and talk to her about issues with GreenPath. GreenPath is an incredibly powerful budgeting tool to help you get your finances in order, not in a bad way, but in a really good way. We want to take care of our membership from start to the final points, and we have the tools to do that now. So I'm very proud of that. We're going to take a commercial. We'll be right back.
The Grand Lodge office invites you and your officers to participate in Lodge Leadership Day. There will be Lodge officer training programs as well as marketing and Lodge charitable account seminars and much, much more. Continental breakfast and lunch will be served and vendors will be available to speak with you throughout the day. Look for the registration link in your next e-newsletter or type in the link below to find details on programming, costs, and our Super Saver Full Team Special, where you and your lodge could attend for free. Seating is limited, so be sure to register your lodge today.
Welcome back, everybody. So you just saw an advertisement on how to register for our Friday, March 17th leadership event, and that'll come up at the end of our trial time again. So please take advantage of it, and we'd love to have your whole team up here and get your lodge reimbursed its entry fee back. So we talked a little bit about that program. Now I'm going to have each of our panel up here talk to you a little bit about what their presentation will be. So Darren, why don't you kick it off? You're going to talk to us about?
So each of us is going to have about 40 minutes for a presentation that day, March 17th. And I'm going to have a piece of two presentations. The main one is going to be geared towards secretaries, talking about what the duties are, when they happen. So when do you do your 990? When do you check your annual return? When does your certificate of election need to be in? How do you submit transfers and plurals and all these things? Make sure you're using the forms correctly. So it's really going to be a secretarial tutorial, if you will.
Excellent.
Yes, and then the other piece, Ben Tigner and I, Brother Ben, will be doing a piece on communications, whether it be digital or print or working with your lodge website, how to get your message out there, how to maintain those things with events and different things that you want to do. So
that's exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, good. All right. Thank you, Darren. Kelly, you're going to talk to us about what will that consist of? You already kind of gave us a...
Yeah, I gave you a little rundown that we'll be taking care of the Sweetheart program along with reaching out to your elder care members. But we're also going to be going into another concern that we hear a lot is how do I reach out to our community? So we're going to be going into how to harness the power of the Lodge Charity account to reach out into your community. And we just encourage you guys, this is one day out of 365. Make 2023 the year to make your lodge the best it can be. We're really going to put a lot of effort into making this a great event and a great day for you all.
That's great. Thank you. And certainly last but not least, Patti, about member care and what you've got planned for us.
Yes, member care will absolutely be a part of this event. We are looking forward to it. We're going to do things a little bit differently. Rather than presentation style, we're going to have some booths and tables available where staff will be available to talk with the lodges and talk with the officers about what member care does. We are going to want to make sure that we cover very particular programs such as GreenPath, which you referenced. What is GreenPath? How that can help your lodge and help your brothers, why it's important, why it's a segue into the rest of the help that member care can then assist with. We will also have our staff there to talk with you about any potential needs, any brothers that might need to have anything, so we can take those referrals right then and there. We're also, new for member care is that we are also serving as kind of that gateway to our Michigan Masonic home. Many times we're working with folks throughout the years in various capacities, helping them to age in place and be as independent as possible. But then there comes that time where we want to just enjoy life a little bit more and be able to relax and come up to the home and have some things taken care of. So we can talk with you about how that process works. And more importantly, not just when you're ready to come to the home, but what we should be doing in our 30s and our 40s and our 50s to plan for our future, to take care of our mothers, all those resources that are available with the Michigan Masonic Home. Our admissions staff that's part of member care will be available on site to talk about that. And then, of course, there's some of our other outside programs, like preparing for the upcoming summer, our Child ID program. We'll be able to share how that program is rolling out. So any questions that we can address for your particular lodge, we're going to be available for.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patti. So as you can see, we've got a great day planned for you on February, no,
17th.
March 17th.
St. Patrick's Day.
March 17th, St. Patrick's Day. We're not going to have corned beef cabbage and corned beef and cabbage. We're not going to have that, but we will have some good food. Or green beer, yeah. But we will have some good food. But we will have some good food. I did want to just take an opportunity, too, to remind everybody that our lodge leadership spring classes are coming up. And this year we're going to be talking about some stuff that we actually rolled out in the fall. We've kind of updated it and amended it, changed a few things, but what are the roles of the worshipful master? And then what are the results of doing those things well? You know, what is the master supposed to be doing? And it's not just opening up the lodge, folks. It's there's a lot of stuff that he has to do. How do we get better at that? How do we build the kinds of relationships that men want when they come to our door? And that's the reality of what we're facing right now. I'm doing a lot of study lately, and what was shocking to me was a new statistic that has come out, but it's been going up every year today, where 1 in 5 men are lonely. And that one of the leading causes of death among men between the ages of 35 and 55 is loneliness. As whether they take that ultimate terrible step of suicide, or they just develop other illnesses that are consistent with loneliness and the stress that causes. We have the answer for that. We don't take advantage of it. So I want us to concentrate this year on really becoming the kind of place where a lodge can impact men in a really positive way. So Saturday, March 4th, we actually opened that back up to registration, and we're going to take the numbers up because that one's going very well. Detroit Masonic Temple, Saturday, March 4th. That's where that class is going to be. It's the first one of the season. March 11th then is in Alpena at the Holiday Inn. That one's getting a lot of good attendance as well. April 1st will be in Marquette. So for those of our brothers up in the UP, that's where we'll be. April 15th will be in Alma. And then on April 22nd, we'll wrap those up in Jackson at the Holiday Inn and Suites down in Jackson. They begin at 10, but we're always there early with some coffee and some donuts and things like that. Classes begin at 10, end promptly at 3, and lunch is served. There's no cost to attend, but you do have to register. And registration is going to fill up on those. They are very limited, so I hope that you'll take advantage of that. I want you to think about what we had said, though, earlier, that we have the solution when we build friendships with other men to a huge societal problem. And that was elevated during COVID, but it has been going on for a long time now. And I think that the decrease in social opportunities, whether that was sports teams or euchre games or whatever it might have been, and the increase in social media and those kinds of things that are not building relationships, have caused a lot of the problems that we face today. Since 1995, we have gone tenfold in the number of men who say they do not have any close friends. It's increased tenfold. I do not have any close friends. And this is a question that you ask yourself if you're saying, well, I don't even understand who all that's about. If it was 2 a.m. and you needed help from somebody, who would you call? Do you have somebody to call? So join us at our leadership classes in the spring. Join us on March 17th at our leadership event here, and really get into this. Get into your lodges, and let's have some fun. Let's build some friendships and have a great time. Thank you, Ben, for our trial time. Thank you, panel.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Track. So Patti, Kelly, and Darren, thank you very much for everything that you folks do, and for everybody else up here at our campus. You all do great stuff, and we're very grateful for you. We'll see you at Lodge.